Hello, my name is Talisha Smith, and in today's professional development course, we are going to be talking about student engagement. Previous to this, as slide 3, the teachers and educators that are in this session will have completed a survey, and we will talk about the beginnings of the understanding the concept of what cross-curricular learning is and its significance in education. We'll discuss the benefits it offers, the terms with the student engagement, followed by effective strategies for implementation. Additionally, we'll examine practical applications for these concepts. So at the beginning, we will ask the educators to discuss with those at their table, what are some challenges you face as educators? These four boxes have not popped up yet. At this point, they will get a chance to discuss. After discussing that, we'll take a time to talk about what makes you excited to teach and finding a time to implement the positive as well as the problems. I hope will engage the adult learners into looking for things that they can apply in their classroom. On the next slide, we're going to talk about key components and principles of student engagement. Key components of cross-curricular learning include collaboration. We've already collaborated in here. We've already talked about engagement being a real application to our situations. This includes thematic integration and student-centered learning. Principles such as relevance and real-world application are crucial for fostering student engagement. So we have a video here. In the full presentation, they will get to watch an example of a classroom that is utilizing this. Next, we'll look at the benefits, key components, or what we just talked about, the benefits of cross-curricular learning, enhanced critical thinking and problem-solving skills. So we're going to have another moment where we find someone in the room who has a strength in your subject, not your own. So take 5 minutes and go and discuss and find people that have a different subject focus than you. Elementary students teachers might find someone in a different grade, or as shown in a previous example that I've been able to share, finding someone that has a strength in another area. I had one teacher who had a strength in math. In fact, her students had really high math scores, where her team teacher had really high English scores. That's your goal, is find someone that could enhance your learning and you can help them. So some of the reasons, after we come back, we're going to talk about ways that you could work together to create a lesson using both of those subjects and be ready to share. You'll be challenged to work with engagement of multiple subjects, talk about creating problem solving and connecting ideas. I have this saying that I created with my young children, that's be a problem solver, not a problem maker. In education, oftentimes, we solve those problems for those students instead of allowing them to have time to work through them. It's a tricky thing because keeping them engaged they could go off into left field if you let them have too much control. So that balancing act is important for student engagement. Improved retention and understanding. Contextual learning, integrating subjects, allows students to relate concepts to real-life situation, enhancing their learning experience. In my experience as a middle school teacher, when I apply these principles to what they're going to be doing in the future, it takes a lot of extra time. Finding out their interests, finding out their goals for the future, and often middle school kids, they like to joke. They like to joke about things and they don't want to tell you the truth. But instead of reacting to it, we do this. We improve retention and understanding by looking past some of those sillinesses that they're doing and integrating subjects together in those real life situations. Even talking about, well, is that something you would use for that? And you can steer them back. So your classroom management has something to do with the student engagement, allowing them to explore what they want. They might not have a clue what they want yet, but explore how these ideas can help them choose and how they can help them care a little bit more. Cross-curricular learning fosters these skills. Enhanced retention is part of it. Development of interdisciplinary skills. Electives, or like I like to call them, core applications classes, happen at a secondary level, but oftentimes they're overlooked at an elementary level. If we are integrating and layering our lessons, kids can see what it benefits them, again, to that real world application. So the collaboration skills, communication abilities, and adaptability of your interdisciplinary learning is preparing them for our various challenges in their academic and career paths. Skill and concept pairing. Effective implementation of cross-curricular learning involves thoughtful planning and collaboration among educators. You can't do this on your own. We're a team. That's what the word team means. Oftentimes, when students get put in teams, you have to talk about the pros and cons. So among your table, let's talk about the pros of being a team. And I'll give them some time to think about that. Let's also talk about the cons, the hard things about being a team. When you have a PLC, oftentimes you're asked to pull things together and one person is not engaged in that. So one of the cons is that you're at different places. Your needs are different and also your motivators are different. But the pros to that are if you learn to work together, that those ideas flow and you can share. You don't want to have to recreate something over and over again. If you can share and utilize someone else's ideas. So pairing skills allows for more repetition of those skills, more content to be covered, collaboration and the utilization of educator strengths, connecting with more students, and retention. That is a lot of words, but basically what it's meaning is you have a chance to connect with more of your students. You have someone that doesn't want or is struggling to let you know who they are. You might be able to pull them in and you don't even know what's going on. So working with layers of learning often helps. Now, pairing a skill with content is an important thing. Some content curriculum has a schedule that they have to meet, whereas some of your skill-based classes, they can adapt their skills to the content. So working together allows you to identify the skills and the concepts that work together. The time and the effort is worth it. In the next slide, we talk about integrated lesson planning, and that goes right along with what we were talking about in that connecting subjects, and the planning allows teachers to connect multiple subjects, creating a cohesive learning experience for the students. This also means that if you overlap, it allows students to talk about and get deeper into subjects in multiple places. If they are in one subject and you teach them some content, you go to another subject, oftentimes students will engage by saying, hey, I remember this. This was from this area. This was from something else we learned. How come we're learning it in math? Then it gives you opportunity to connect those and give them some content to go with those skills, which maximizes our retention. Collaborative teaching approaches. Work with your partner to integrate a cross-curricular plan. At this point in the learning, I would have the teachers sit together and work on a plan as I walk around the room and try to give ideas. In my debate class that I'm teaching in our middle school, oftentimes I will have to give ideas and spark ideas. So my challenge would be to go around the room and help in that process without taking over. Allow allowing you as teachers to collaborate. Give that same thing to your students. Allow them some time. Teachers can design these lesson plans and connect different subjects, but I, as a facilitator, need to give you a chance to do that. You'll utilize it more if you have a chance to. So for the last slide, I wanted to talk about units. Even though this is not the end of my presentation, this will be the last thing that I get to cover in this short video, and the importance of units. Everybody likes to feel like there is structure to their learning, structure to everything you have. That's why even in essays that are graded by our state testing, we are very specific on the format or the template that we want them to fill in. You've got your beginning, you've got your with the main idea, your objective, your thesis, and then you have your points with a conclusion that sums things up. That goes across multiple subjects. Music has the same thing. We have a structure that works. It makes sense to our brain. So why not create that unit, those units, to give that structure to the students? Oftentimes students will walk in, what are we doing today? Even if the objective is on the board, you know exactly what you're doing, you have the whole lesson plan laid out for them, they're still gonna ask you that. If you have units throughout the school or throughout your day, it connects that materials. This is an important thing to sell for your administration too. I had an example of a teacher who did a whole unit around penguins. She did the math, the social studies, the science, all of it was around that. Her lessons pulled in all of her standards. But when she had her observation, her administration did not understand the purpose of her unit, and criticized and cut her down, saying you don't have time to focus on penguins, it's not in your standards. So make sure when you're developing units and projects that you get your school on board, understanding the reasons why, showing the research, and adapting that even to your principals. Remember, they're adult learners too. Make sure that when you present to them that you have that structure and you tap into their needs as adult learners, and through that you can show the importance of projects and units. But with that, I would spend not the remainder of the time, but quite a bit more time talking about the importance of units and letting them develop a few units on the board. I have a link to some sample lesson plans, as well as unit project lists and unit docs. So creating this cohesive unit plan is something that I am passionate about. And so when I teach this PLC, my goal by the end is to have the teachers be as excited as I am on this. On slide 17, at the very end, I give chance for feedback. And at this point, I will take ideas, give them a chance to bounce ideas off of me and create a plan in an Excel sheet where we share these units and resources and different things, so they can apply and integrate this professional development right into their everyday lesson plans, along with the sources and data that they need to get other people on board. Thank you for watching this, and I hope you come to my full presentation where you get a chance to explore how cross-curricular learning helps student engagement. Thank you.